Hi, everyone. My name is Emmy Amorati, and as I said a minute ago, I'm Assistant Director of our ACU Online Writing Center. And we're here tonight with Christy Apostle. Say hi, Christy.
Hey everyone.
Christy's one of our awesome tutors from the Online Writing Center. And tonight we have a pretty fun and informative, interesting webinar on the topic of writing a song analysis. Tomorrow we'll send out links to the recording and the slide deck for the webinar, and the links to the resources in the slide deck will be active. And during the presentation, please feel free to type any questions into the chat and we'll pause as needed and do our best to answer them. So these are our learning objectives for the webinar. By the end of the session, we will understand the purpose and process of song analysis and workshop SOCO 388 Week 3, Assignment 1, Life in Music. So let's begin by focusing on learning objective 1, understand the purpose and process of song analysis. To prepare to write a song analysis, we'll begin by talking about why we might want to write one to begin with. First of all, music is pretty much sprinkled throughout our days, whether we are purposely playing it for entertainment, watching TV, hearing an advertisement, or walking around stores to go grocery shopping. In its ubiquity, it becomes a powerful reflection of our emotions, societal values, and cultural dynamics. So in this way, we can say that music both impacts and acts as a record of the human experience. Spencer Espinoza put it in a pretty neat way. Quantitative and qualitative data show us that music and society tie together in a way that is inextricable. Or to say it colloquially, it doesn't matter if we can't see the forest for the trees, as long as we have music playing to accompany us on our journey to the 2 points of observation. Given the intersection between music and the human experience, we can learn about societies and cultures by analyzing the music they produce. More specifically, we can analyze songs for evidence of sociocultural phenomena. For instance, the phenomena described in criminological theory. During this webinar, we're going to focus on examining music through one such lens. How do the lyrics of a song or songs reflect theories or explanations for crime and delinquency? We're going to consider two theories, strain theory and social learning theory, and we'll practice analyzing some song lyrics through those paradigms. So the first theory we're going to look at is strain theory. Strain theory indicates that strain or stress causes upset and contributes to delinquency or criminal behavior. Some examples of strain include failing to achieve goals. For instance, monetary desires, status or respect, thrills and excitement, or freedom from the control of others. Another strain is being societally mistreated. For example, parental rejection or abuse, negative school experiences, abuse of peers, or homelessness. Strain can also arise from structural factors such as discrimination, economic inequality, or limited educational opportunities. The second theory we'll talk about is social learning theory. Social learning theory is based on the work of seminal authors like Bandura, who argued that individuals learn to engage in delinquency or crime from others. And this learning is transmitted through social cues and even media models. In particular, juveniles are more likely to engage in delinquency if their friends, parents, and siblings model criminal behavior, especially if they believe imitating the behavior will result in reinforcement. As an example of how we can apply these theories to analyze a song, we're going to consider the lyrics of Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise, and I'm really hoping the embedded video works, so let's see.
I'm unfortunately not getting the sound. You might have to redo
Oh
the Zoom
no,
share with the share sound box, which moved in the new version of Zoom.
the share
Check.
soundbox. Oh
So
no.
you'll have to reshare your screen, and as you start that share, look on the right-hand side for a checkbox.
Under more? Oh, share computer sound. Oh, it does. You're right, that's different. All right, we're going to start it over because I worked really hard to get this into the PowerPoint slide. Thank you, Basil. Let me know if it works this time.
But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying in chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my 10 in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banker, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, death ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living life, do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things is going, I don't know.
Yay, it worked. Thank you, Basil. I really appreciate that.
No worries.
I was super excited to get this in there, and this does follow fair use policy because we're doing an educational presentation. So now that we have listened to the song and everyone has heard it and gotten to dance around, let's look more closely at some of the words. So here's an excerpt. The first two lines of the excerpt say, "But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of." And the bottom line says, "I'm the kind of G the little homies want to be like." So this language shows that the narrator doesn't want others to treat him like a punk, meaning weak, inexperienced, or not a strong part of the community he runs with. In addition, he wants to be a role model for the younger people in the neighborhood, the little homies. So all these lines point to a common idea, the strain of wanting status or respect. The lines also tell us how the narrator has reacted to the strain. They refer to figures being lined in chalk, pistol smoke, and people croaking or dying. The imagery makes it clear that the narrator has reacted to the strain by engaging in violence and murder to gain respect and to punish those who didn't respect him. Here's another excerpt that we'll analyze in terms of strain theory. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my 10 in my hand. So what strain are these lines referring to? It says money, and we can assume that the dreams the narrator is chasing include those monetary desires. The lines also refer to his being a gangsta and to his having a 10 in his hand. It's kind of not really clear what the 10 refers to. It could be a $10 bill. It could be a gun, but regardless of which interpretation we pick, the lines together support the conclusion that the narrator has reacted to the strain of monetary desire by engaging in gang activity. This activity could include extortion or drug trafficking as a means of making money. And this song was actually used in a film called Dangerous Minds, which emphasized activities like that. So if you consider it in context, we have extra reinforcement of strain theory. We can address a lot of other examples related to strain theory in this song. So on your own later, you may want to think about evidence of the strain of wanting thrills and excitement and evidence of structural factors that may have led to the strains. But we're going to move on to look at social learning theory for now. So what evidence do we see of social learning of delinquency here? I was raised by the street, so I got to be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. The narrator has followed community, peer, and media models for engaging in gang activity. The street refers to the community, the hood team is his peers, and too much television watching is his media exposure. Let's add a line now that we also looked at previously. I'm the kind of G the little homies want to be like. So we can see that in addition to following social models to learn behavior, the narrator also perpetuates the models to teach them to the younger children in the community. Notice that we've used Coolio's line about the little homies to illustrate both theories for the analysis, strain theory and social learning theory. So don't be afraid to double dip or consider lines in your own analysis through multiple lenses to generate a real richness of thought. Before we shift to Christy for learning objective 2, here's a quick reference list for the sources I've cited while discussing learning objective 1, including Coolio's song. They're in alphabetical order, just like yours will be on your references page, and Christy's going to talk more about citing and referencing over her portion of slides. Christy?
Hi, everyone. Christy here. Let's pivot to our second learning objective, the workshop for SOCO 388, Week 3, Assignment 1, Life and Music. So you'll be writing a song analysis in the context of this assignment. Here is the link to the assignment, should you want it for quick reference. For the next portion of the webinar, we'll review the assignment details and discuss how to organize and develop the draft. Okay, let's focus more specifically by looking at the assignment preamble, which is listed as its purpose. So the more you dive into leading criminological theories, you'll probably start seeing them in real life. So you'll just start to notice them. One of the first places you'll see them is in art. This assignment will get you to look at lyrics and songs differently, wherein you will start to identify elements of strain theory and social learning theory, as Emmy discussed, in music. The first part of the assignment instructions applies to strain and social learning theory. So let's look at these instructions. Applying strain and social learning theory means that the theories or explanations of delinquency should be described as illustrated in popular songs, both past and present. Therefore, drawing on any music application, such as YouTube, you should find a song or songs, so you can do more than one if you wish, that illustrates the elements of strain theory and social learning theory. A good example, as listed in the assignment, is Runaway Love by Ludacris, although there are many other songs relevant to both theories. You can pick from any songs you find. So the next part of the assignment details word count, source citation, and 3 questions to answer. So for the word count, you'll need 350 to 500 words with the final draft. For source citation, you'll need to reference the readings that informed your discussion, and you'll need to answer the following questions. First, what strains are illustrated in the song or songs you choose? What impact do the elements of both theories have on the person's experiencing them? And what are some of the reasons why this person or persons may have coped with the strains through delinquency? In addition to answering the essay questions, be sure to include a URL or link, such as a link on YouTube, to the song that you selected for your assignment. I'll talk more about this link in a moment. Additionally, include a reference page following APA format, which we'll also talk about a little later. Also, for this particular assignment, note that it includes AI guidelines, which you will see at the top of the assignment page in Canvas at the yellow diamond symbol. For instance, for this activity, you can use AI-assisted writing tools to draft an outline, to brainstorm topics, to improve organization, polish sentence structure, and grammar. However, avoid using AI beyond these parameters. For instance, you should not copy AI-generated responses to the assignment prompt or represent them as any of those responses as your own original work. If you do use AI, it should be appropriately cited. And you can find instructions for doing this at the link here. Okay, now we'll look at how the rubric provides an assignment breakdown. These first 3 rows are especially important for the organization of your paper. So you'll first need to identify elements of social learning theory within this song. Additionally, identify different strains within the song that you choose or the songs. And third, describe the impact of the elements of both theories on the person or person's experiencing them. Finally, overall, for formatting, note that, again, the assignment needs to be 350 to 500 words. And you need to follow APA guidelines, which includes your in-text citations and your references page. So based on the rubric, we have guidelines for organizing and developing the paper. This slide shows possibilities for creating section headings based on the first 3 lines in the rubric. For example, the first heading could be strains in the song, or you could identify the name of the song. For instance, we could say strains in Gangsta's Paradise. The second heading might be impact of theories, and this would be based on the second bullet or second question in the assignment. And for the third heading, consider something like coping through delinquency. Again, this third heading is based on the third bullet or the third question in the assignment. These headings would all be first level headings according to APA style, which means they would be centered and in bold in your paper. So let's see what that looks like. As you set up your draft, I encourage you to use our ACU APA course paper template, which has all the settings for APA format already provided. Emmy will show a draft I've set up for the assignment based on our APA course paper template.
Can you see the template now?
Yes.
Excellent.
So what Emmy's showing us now are the elements of the title page. For instance, you'll start with the title of the paper, in this case, Strain and Social Learning, an Ode to Gangsta's Paradise. After the title, there should be 2 double-spaced lines, your name, the department, and a comma, and the university. Under that, you'll see the course number followed by the full course name spelled. Finally, the professor's name, and then the due date of the assignment. So let's look at page 2 that Emmy's providing. Before the introductory paragraph, you'll just repeat the title rather than putting a separate heading for the introduction. So just include the title. We'll talk more about the link that's under the title in a moment. Next, you can see the introduction, followed by a little bit of information about what you'll need to include in it, such as a few sentences about the 2 theories in your chosen song. Then you'll see that I have put the major headings that we talked about from the rubric. These headings are centered and in bold and in title case, which means basically that you're going to be capitalizing every major word and any word of 4 or more letters. These headings are based on the content that I mentioned earlier from the rubric. So we have the 3 strains in the song, impact of theories, and coping through delinquency. At the bottom, however, I do have a major heading for the conclusion. It also includes just a little note about what you could include there. You might summarize the strains and the theory's impact that you discussed in the body in those respective sections, and then reasons for coping with the strains through delinquency. In addition, consider the so what, we might say. How can analyzing music help readers better understand socio-cultural phenomena? On a separate page at the end, there's also a references page. And you'll see that it's set up based on some common examples, including a YouTube example, which you'll need to be using in this assignment, and we'll talk about more in a bit. Now we're going to shift back to the PowerPoint to discuss more about APA citation and referencing.
Can you see the PowerPoint again?
Yes, looks good.
Awesome.
All right, let's talk more specifically about citing sources using APA style. Since you'll be citing the textbook, we can look at options for how to do just that. First, the reference example here on the slide shows the required elements. You'll need the authors of the book, the publication date, which is 2022, the title. This title is in sentence case. I mentioned title case earlier. In sentence case, you'll capitalize the first word of the main title, the first word of the subtitle, which is why causes is capitalized, and any proper words. In this case, the title doesn't have any of those words. We've also included the edition, since this is an edition after the first, and then the publisher. Next, you may want to cite the book based on familiar APA standards with the authors and the publication date as seen in this in-text citation example. So this first in-text citation example is a paraphrase, and it's cited at the end with the two authors' names, surnames, and an ampersand. You'll see that symbol between the names, followed by a comma and the publication date. Or you may decide to cite the chapter as a whole authored book chapter. APA provides guidance for this sort of citation. For instance, if you quote, you could use the page number, but you could also use the chapter number if you want to highlight that you've specifically referred to an assigned reading like the specific chapter. So in this example, you see that we've included the authors at the beginning of a sentence. And in this case, when the authors are in a sentence, the word and comes between their surnames rather than the ampersand. The date still follows their names. And then at the end, we've included the chapter number and the page number in order to follow APA guidelines for citing a whole authored book chapter. So now let's look at this reference example based on the song by Coolio that Emmy discussed earlier. So in this example, we have the musician's name starting in the author element, followed by another artist that's featured. We have the publication date of the song, the title of the song, and then interestingly, it's followed in brackets with song. And this is just a description that tells readers who may not know this song that it is, in fact, a song. Next, we have the word on, followed by the title of the album, which is required in APA. And then finally, the two production companies. When you have more than one company, which is also referred to as a publisher in an APA reference citation, when you have more than one production company or publisher, they are separated with a semicolon, as you see in this example. If you wish to directly quote the song, you'll cite not only the musician and the date, but also the timestamp where the quote begins, which you see in the next example. This example shows that we've decided to quote more than one line from the song. So when you do that, you'll separate the two lines with two or more lines with a slash. And a space will be needed before the slash, and another space will be needed after the slash. Then finally, if you paraphrase in the song, as in the final example on this slide, you will only need the author and the date in the citation. So APA provides more guidelines on citing songs that should be helpful for you as you work on this assignment. Usually, for instance, you will not need to specify how you listen to an album or song in the reference list entry. So you wouldn't need to include a streaming service like Spotify or iTunes. However, let's say that you only found the song online, that the musician does not offer the song in any other format. So in this case, you would include a URL at the end of the reference list entry if that's the only way you can find the song. So some artists might provide music only online, such as on SoundCloud or their website. And in this sort of instance, you would need the URL at the end of the entry. Additionally, for more information, you could check out the APA publication manual, the 7th edition. Look for section 10.13, or also check this link that we provided here on the APA style blog, which goes into more detail on citing songs. So I mentioned this earlier. For this assignment, you will have to include a URL to the song, since it probably won't come at the end of the reference list entry, as I just mentioned. It could be included as an epigraph, which is brief content at the beginning of a paper. This content is after the title after the title of the song, and it's before the first line of the text. So consider this example that we have in the box here at the bottom of the slide. You see the title that I referred to earlier, and then you see the URL for the song. It's listed, or it's formatted as APA requires for an epigraph. So an epigraph will be one double-spaced line below the title, and it should be indented as a typical paragraph would be indented 1/2 inch. So this is one option that you can consider between the title and the introduction of your paper for including the required URL for the assignment. And if you want to see more about epigraphs, refer to section 8.35, pages 277 through 278 in the APA manual. All right, so let's get back to looking at the Coolio example specifically and a YouTube video citation. So you'll need to cite a YouTube video for this assignment. This slide shows a reference example, an in-text citation example for citing from YouTube. You can also use this example to cite the YouTube resources on strain and social learning theories for this week's module. So for the reference example, you'll see Tommy Boy's first. That is because you'll need to put the entity, organization, person, what have you, that uploaded the video as the first element in the author spot of a reference list entry. Next, you'll put the specific date. YouTube usually provides, for instance, the year, the month, and day, as you see here with 2017, August 1st. Next, you'll need to include the title of the video as listed underneath the video itself on YouTube. This title should be italicized and in sentence case. So again, you'll be capitalizing every major word. You'll be capitalizing the first word of the main title, the first word of the subtitle, and any proper nouns. Finally, after the video title, there's going to be another descriptor in brackets. In this case, it's a video. Finally, we put the website YouTube and then the URL for the YouTube video that we cited. Then we see that you'll need to include probably in-text citation examples in the paper. So for a direct quote, a little bit like I mentioned earlier with the song, when directly quoting it, you'll need the author, which in this case, again, is the entity that uploaded the video, Tommy Boy. You'll need the publication date, the year for in-text citation, which is 2017, and the timestamp where the quote begins. And that's what you see at the end of that example. In the final example, which is a paraphrase, you'll see that you only would need the entity uploading the video and the publication year. Okay, so there's a few more sources that should assist with all the referencing you'll be doing in this paper. Of course, you can refer to the 7th edition of the publication manual, as I've already mentioned. Or you can check out the website based on that edition using this link that's shown here in the first bullet. As well, please always feel free to email us at the Online Writing Center. Our email is provided on the slide, and one of our tutors will promptly assist you and respond to your questions.
Okay, thanks, Christy. That brings us to the end of our webinar. Today, we reviewed key concepts and texts to understand the purpose and process of song analysis and workshop SOCO 388, Week 3, Assignment 1, Life and Music. Before we wrap up, let me tell you a little bit more about the services we offer at the Online Writing Center. You can check out the Online Writing Center homepage at this link in My ACU. We have a video linked for the steps you can follow to make an appointment and submit a paper. Remember, we work with you at any stage of your writing, and we offer 2 types of appointments on our schedule. You can schedule an email or asynchronous appointment when you upload your paper, and the tutor will send you feedback by email within 24 hours. That's called the Writing Center Report. Or you can also schedule a Zoom appointment if you want to talk to one of us in real time. Just go to the schedule and click on the Zoom link at the time of your appointment, and remember that all of our appointments are in Central Time. You can also access many writing-related resources on the Online Writing Center website. Regardless of the appointment type, our submission process is the same. You first schedule an appointment at WC Online, and then you can upload your paper to the appointment form. If you have a Zoom appointment and you want to bring a paper to it, it helps if you upload the paper an hour or 2 beforehand so the tutor can glance through it, if possible. These are 3 different ways that you can contact us. You can email us at onlinewritingcenter@acu.edu. Click the second link to schedule an appointment and visit the Online Writing Center website. On that website, we have several resources, including our APA course paper template that we modeled how to use. We also have a YouTube channel where we post our webinars and other interesting videos, and we have our Online Writing Center blog, which includes some recent uploads about using AI in academic writing. Other webinars may be of interest to you as well. They're all on our website. Some are on our YouTube channel. We have another webinar on song and music video analysis at the 2 links at the top of this slide. And if you are concerned about the yellow light AI guidelines, you can check out our recent webinar on referencing and citing AI tools in APA style. So this brings us to the end of our webinar on writing a song analysis. Thank you, Christy and Basil, for assisting today. You both want to say bye?
Yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope everyone has a good day and week.
Same.
Awesome. Thank you both, and thank everyone who's watching for learning with us today. We hope you found this helpful.